John, where are you at this time? Are you in down in California, or are you in Canada?
I'm in sunny Ottawa today.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was born and raised here, so yeah, it's a beautiful day here today.
But do you not have a place in California? Did you tell me that?
Yeah, I have a place in Indian Wells, California, Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be nice. That would be a nice place to have lockdown.
It was for a couple of weeks until they stopped flying back to Canada. Then we had to skedaddle home.
Okay.
It's a little warm there today. I think it's like 109 Fahrenheit or 108 Fahrenheit was going to be the high there today. So.
Yeah, my son lives in San Diego. I think I told you this, so we have a daily update from him about this wonderful weather they're having.
Yeah, San Diego's a wonderful place in the summertime, all year round.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder you like it.
Gentlemen, you know what? We're going to get this going. Anybody who's attended one of our press conferences know we follow a speaking order, but we may have to improvise a little today. First of all, thank you all for joining us. My name is Al Cameron. I'm the Director of Communication and Media Relations for Curling Canada, and it's a real pleasure to have you all with us today in these precedent-setting times. And hopefully we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and today's announcement will be a part of that. I'm not going to keep you in any more suspense. We're going to get things started, and it's my pleasure to introduce my friend and the chair of our Board of Governors and a proud native of Ottawa, John Shea, chair of the Curling Canada Board of Governors.
Thanks, Al. I am truly delighted to represent Curling Canada and our Board of Governors today on what is an exciting day for the sport of curling in the nation's capital, my hometown. Je suis vraiment ravi de représenter Curling Canada et notre conseil des gouverneurs aujourd'hui pour une journée excitante pour le curling dans notre capitale nationale, ma ville natale. Je sais que plusieurs personnes qui se joignent à nous en ligne attendent cette annonce depuis longtemps. Alors, je ne vais pas faire durer le suspense. I know many people joining us online today have been waiting a long time to hear this announcement. So I'm not going to keep you in suspense. I could not be happier to tell you that the City of Ottawa will host the 2021 World Men's Curling Championships next April at TD Place. There are so many people who've worked hard to make today's announcement possible, but it really starts with our partners at the World Curling Federation, whose stewardship and leadership for our sport continues to take curling to new levels around the world. President Kate Caithness has been tireless in her efforts to build our sport, and we are truly thankful for the trust they show us to host these championships. Thank you, Kate. His Worship, Mayor Jim Watson, is here today, and we know Mayor Watson loves bringing big curling events to Ottawa. Your Worship, thank you again for all your support. The Ontario government has stepped up repeatedly to support championship curling in this province, and that will be the case again for the 2021 Worlds. We're grateful for the support of the Honourable Lisa MacLeod, the Minister of Heritage, Sport, Tourism, and Culture Industries. And we look forward to seeing Minister MacLeod next April at the World Curling Championships. As always, Ottawa Tourism and the great people at Lansdowne Park have opened every door to make us feel welcome. Just like us, they have extremely positive memories of the 2016 Tim Hortons Brier at TD Place. And we hope to put on an equally great show next April. Thank you to Ottawa Tourism President, CEO, Mark Brockett, and Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group CEO, Mark Goody, for everything you did to make this happen today. We're fortunate at Curling Canada that we have the opportunity to work our wonderful member associations across the country to continue building our sport for all to enjoy. I'd like to thank Curl On Executive Director Steve Chenier, for his valuable contributions in making today's announcements possible. Elaine Brimacombe and the local organizing committee are pros in every sense of the word. They know how to get this job done, and I know we and the World Curling Federation will be in good hands. Elaine, we couldn't be happier for you and your committee, and we're ready to work hard with you to make this event a success. Again, thank you for joining us on the call today, and we look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Thanks, John. So just to explain a couple of the things about how we're going to run things today, obviously we've got some speakers. I'm going to ask you obviously all to mute yourselves unless you're speaking. Otherwise, then we won't pick up any sounds in the background. And for media looking to ask questions, there will be a question and answer after. I will ask you if you want to ask a question. There is a chat window that's available in Google Meet. Just put your name and affiliation down in that chat window, and I will announce your questions one by one. If you're not participating on Google, in other words, if you dialed in, just shoot me an email at acameron@curling.ca if you wish to ask questions, and we will have those questions afterwards. You know, one of the things about a championship like this, we've been at TD Place a number of times in the past, as we know, and one of the great things about that arena is they're unbelievably accommodating. And one of the key accommodating factors is the fact that we're kicking out a very good hockey team, the Ottawa 67s, at a very important time of year. And I just really want to acknowledge the Ottawa 67s for everything they're doing to cooperate and make us feel welcome, because I know that's not an easy ask. We run into it all the time. And I got to say, the teams of the Canadian Hockey League as well as the Canadian Junior Hockey League have been so accommodating and understanding how important these events are to their market. So a big shout out to the Ottawa 67s today. Obviously our friends at the World Curling Federation, just amazing builders of the sport of curling. And the lady I'm about to introduce is a friend of the sport in every sense of the word. She has worked tirelessly in back rooms around the world to build our sport, and especially in the back rooms of the IOC. She's an amazing woman, and it's really my privilege to introduce the president of the World Curling Federation, Kate Caithness.
Thanks, Al. That was a very nice introduction. And also, John, for your kind words. I'm really happy that I'm able to join you in this press conference this evening for me, morning, I think, for you guys. But anyway, so what I wanted to say was I'm delighted that the World Curling Federation will be bringing one of our flagship championships to Curling Canada's home city for the very first time. After the change to our Olympic qualification process was recently confirmed by the International Olympic Committee, this edition of the World Men's Championship will see the first of our member associations' men's teams qualify for the Olympic Winter Games in Beijing 2022. So, of course, this championship is vitally important for all our athletes, our members, and our sport, and I'm certain that Ottawa will host a first-class event. I'm also looking forward to taking the opportunity to visit Curling Canada's headquarters once more. So for us, it's a really exciting time. The sport's in great shape. I know we're in this shutdown mode just now, but hopefully all going well, that when the season kick starts, that we'll be all ready to go. I don't have a lot to say, but I'm open to any questions throughout this conference, Al. But it was just to say how happy I am to be part of this announcement this evening, and well done to you guys. We have a great relationship with Curling Canada. You're our #1 member association friend in curling, and so as always, we're always happy to come to Canada. We know that you always put on a great show, and so that's all I have to say, Al.
Many thanks, Kate, and memo to Danny, please clean up the office for April. Make sure it's in presentable shape for the president. Thank you, Kate. I really appreciate your time and really appreciate you joining us today. I'm going to introduce now, the province of Ontario has been a big supporter of our events, and I just noticed Minister MacLeod just joined our call today, and I know she's got a very, very busy day in the Ontario legislature today. So I'm going to have her say a few words, and and we want to express our thanks to Minister MacLeod for everything that the Ontario government has done for this event. It's my privilege to introduce the Honourable Lisa MacLeod, the Ontario Minister of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Culture.
Thank you so much. It's a delight to be here. Yes, today I'm in Toronto and our nation's capital, as our provincial capital, as the legislature has resumed. I want to state first and foremost, I'm very proud to be part of this announcement as the Minister of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Culture Industries, but I'm equally proud that I'm an Ottawa MPP and we're going to be able to welcome the 2021 World Men's Curling Championships to my home city. I know that the last several months have been very difficult, and wondering what the future of sports and what the future of tourism will look like. And let me assure you, as a minister responsible for all of those areas, we will be looking at 2021 as our marquee year, bringing together Ontarians, and when it's safe to do so, bringing the world back to the world in one province. I want to say the last sport hosting event that I was able to attend prior to COVID-19 was actually the Briar in Kingston, which had a significant economic impact. And I'm proud to say today that your Ontario government will be investing $350,000 into these curling championships, and we expect, according to our data, that will have a $3.6 million economic impact in our city, our nation's capital, and for our province of Ontario. So I want to say thank you to all of those who have worked so hard to bring this together, the Ottawa Valley Curling Association in particular, as you get set to welcome 60 athletes from 12 countries around the world. And I want you to know when it's safe to do so, we will get together. But I am really looking forward to April 2021 as not only do we get back to normal as a society, but then we start to welcome people back. So thank you very much. And again, as the previous speaker said, happy to take any questions at the appropriate time.
Many thanks, Minister MacLeod. You touched on one of the key points of what makes this event so popular, and I do want to acknowledge that we had a lot of interest in people hosting this championship, and I really do want to thank all the host cities that put in their bid and raised their hand. There's a reason cities want to host these championships, and the minister touched on it in a big way. Obviously, it generates huge amounts of economic impact, but also it's, in many ways free advertising for a host city, in the sense that it's televised across Canada, into the United States, and around the world on the World Curling Federation's YouTube channel that is picked up by various broadcasters around the world. So it's just an amazing opportunity for host cities, and I do want to take the time just to thank all the host cities that tried to host this year's championship. And as Danny and Nolan will want me to say, there are always chances to host future championships. Curling.ca, you can find all the bidding documents. Mayor Jim Watson has been an amazing supporter of our championships, not just in terms of rubber stamping these bids, but also coming out to the events and cheering on these athletes, and it's truly appreciated. He sets a really great example for cities around Canada. So to bring greetings from the city of Ottawa, I'd like to introduce Mayor Jim Watson.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone, and good evening to our friends in Scotland for joining us. Hosting the Men's World Curling Championships next year is a big shot in the arm for the City of Ottawa because, of course, we've lost a lot of major events this year as a result of the pandemic. So we're very, very grateful to the World Curling Federation and Curling Canada and the Ottawa Valley Curling Association, Ottawa Tourism, the Province of Ontario, and my colleagues here at the City of Ottawa for coming together, putting in a really great bid, and hosting this very prestigious tournament in April. I guess it's April, I want to get the right dates, 3rd to 11th at TD Place at Lansdowne Park. Nous sommes bien excités d'accueillir les meilleurs joueurs de curling à Ottawa l'an prochain. Ça, c'est un sport très important pour les résidents de la ville d'Ottawa. It's a sport that's near and dear to our hearts. We've got lots of curling clubs here in Ottawa, and Lansdowne has a great track record of hosting major curling events, whether it's the Briar or the Roar of the Rings. So thank you very much. We have a strategy. We work with Ottawa Tourism. It's called Bid More, Win More, Host More. And it's our strategy to attract these great events, not only because they're great for the sport and for athleticism and to act as role models for young kids who are interested in curling. It's also an amazing boost to our local economy. People staying in hotels, using taxis, eating out at restaurants, shopping at some of the great destinations here in the nation's capital. So thank you, John, and the Board of Directors very much for choosing Ottawa. We're really proud to be hosting the championships in April of next year. And I thank the Province of Ontario for their support, and my colleague Michael Crockett and the great team at Ottawa Tourism for the great work that they do. So we look forward to the next couple of months. Of course, Elaine is the patron saint of hosting these great curling events. She has such a wonderful track record and disposition to get people to work together. And my sincere thanks to the hundreds of volunteers that will be attracted to this great event. This will probably be one of our first big events post-COVID-19, and we look forward to rolling out the red carpet to welcome the world to Canada's capital. Encore merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Worship. When it comes to tickets and volunteers, obviously that all will be rolled out in the coming weeks and months as we get a sense of how this is going to play out. But stay tuned to curling.ca, and we will be getting that news out as we get it set. Mayor Watson talked about Ottawa tourism, and they're a real shining light when it comes to putting together winning bids, because they do understand what this means to a host city. And to bring greetings from Ottawa Tourism, I'd like to introduce Michael Crockett, the President and CEO of Ottawa Tourism.
Well, thanks very much, Alan. And thank you to everyone for helping to make this event happen. Special thanks to Kate and the World Curling Federation, John and Catherine at Curling Canada, Steve at Curl On, of course, the local host committee, the mayor mentioned Elaine already. Of course, OSEG, Mark Gowdy and his team, they're great partners of ours in many, many different events. And let me say, during these past few months, as our industry's been hit really hard by this pandemic, we couldn't be more well-positioned than to have Mayor Jim Watson and Minister Lisa MacLeod supporting tourism and sport in our community. I mean, Mayor Watson has long championed and supported the Bid More, Win More, Host More strategy, leading that drive to attract more major events to our city. And we know that Minister MacLeod is our strong advocate at Queen's Park, continually fighting on behalf of tourism and sport at the provincial level. So thank you both for your enduring efforts on our behalf. On behalf of our board of directors, our nearly 500 member businesses, and my incredible colleagues at Ottawa Tourism, we look forward to welcoming the World Men's Curling Championship to Canada's capital for the first time next April. And now, more than ever, we look to these large-scale events like this to engage our community and boost our local economy. And we're so lucky to have a passionate and involved curling community in Ottawa who look forward to sharing the country's capital with the rest of the world. And Elaine really is the personification of that spirit. We've seen it before. And we're looking forward to not just the exciting matches at TD Place, but also offering a wealth of attractions and events for spectators and athletes to enjoy before, during, and after the championship, to explore Ottawa's natural beauty, many national museums, attractions, vibrant culinary scene, and more. And so thank you again for choosing Ottawa for this event, and we can't wait to host you next year.
Many thanks, Michael. The World Curling Championship is a blast. I can't put it in any other words. It's a freaking blast to attend these things. But there's going to be a tension level in Ottawa next year that will be very measurable. You may notice in the news release that has been sent out, and it has been confirmed as of yesterday, I believe, by the International Olympic Committee, that the World Championship in Ottawa will determine at least half of the field that goes to Beijing for the 2022 Olympics. So there's just a real high. Not only is there gold medals on the line and that World Championship trophy, but also Olympic berths. So that will certainly raise the tension and excitement level at TD Place next April. Speaking of TD Place, just an outstanding, huge facility there at Lansdowne, and we had a great time there in the 2016 Tim Hortons Brier, and I see no reason why we can't expect the same kind of thing to look forward to next April. And to speak on behalf of the Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group is Mark Gowdy, the CEO of Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group. Mark?
Yeah, thank you, Al. And you mentioned it was a blast. That was my the Tim Hortons in 2016 was my first curling event, and I had a blast as well hosting it here. And I think, since we closed the doors on that event, which was a sold out final, standing room only, we've been patiently waiting for our turn to get curling back to TD Place and to Lansdowne. So sincere thank you to Curling Canada, the World Curling Federation, and everybody who worked so hard on the Ottawa bid for giving us the opportunity to have what a wonderful World Championship event back in 2021. Look forward to having you here. We're right in the heart of our nation's capital, TD Place, 9,000 seat arena. We were able to host a patch live and on site here, which again is really fun, vibrant place to be, and I think it adds to the hospitality, able to have people from across Canada, across North America, across the world, being here and enjoying each other's company as well. On site, we have shops and restaurants, and coupled with our focus, Al mentioned it, but our focus on hospitality, I think it really makes Ottawa TD Place the perfect venue for the 2021 Men's Curling Championship. So just want to say that we're super excited to host you in April 2021 and look forward to seeing you all here.
Many thanks, Mark. We've got, the partnerships. That's one of the biggest things about curling. And we talked about our partnership with the World Curling Federation and what they do for the sport of curling. Equally as important is the partnership that we have with our member associations. And Curl On is a leader when it comes to not only hosting championship sports, but developing the sport at the grassroots level in the province. And to speak a little more about that and bring greetings from Curl On, I'd like to introduce their executive director, Mr. Steve Chenier.
Thanks, Al, John, and Catherine. On behalf of Curl On, our board, and our large community of curlers, we just want to say thanks to the World Curling Federation, Curling Canada, the Ottawa Valley Curling Association, the province, the City of Ottawa. This is a really great opportunity for Ontario to host such a prestigious event in 2021. We're looking so forward to it. Ottawa, Ontario, and Ottawa, and the whole area has such a great background of hosting events, and I don't see any different here. This is going to be one of those, coming out of this pandemic issue, it's going to be one of those great events that is going to hopefully just start the whole thing over again and we get going. So we look forward to hoping and helping and working hard with everybody to hold a prestigious event here in Ottawa, and are looking forward to it.
Many thanks. Thank you, Steve. Every time I think about that 2016 Tim Hortons Brier, I just have a smile on my face. In the arena, it was amazing. In the pavilion, it was amazing. The patch, many of you may not have visited the patch. I visit the patch often on research purposes only, but it is definitely the place to be, and you will enjoy yourselves at the patch in addition to being in the arena. World-class events, and this lady needs no introduction because she has a history of putting on world-class events in the City of Ottawa. I'd like to introduce the Vice Chair of the Host Committee, Elaine Brimacombe.
Thank you, and thank you, Al. As a vibrant curling community, we could not be more thrilled to be hosting the LGT World Men's Curling Championship right here in Ottawa. Special thanks to Minister Lisa MacLeod and her ministry and her support. She has been tremendous. Can't thank you enough, Lisa. Mayor Watson, always a promoter of sports and tourism and curling. Thank you. And to our friends at Ottawa Tourism, Michael Crockett and Robert, your support has been immeasurable in putting together our bid. And to the Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group, Mark Gowdy and Val Hughes, tremendous support that we received from OSEG. We are fortunate to have an enthusiastic base of volunteers in our community. I think it's something that Mayor Watson sprinkles in our water. Our volunteers have put a great deal of time and effort in past events to make them successful, and we are looking forward to bringing in new volunteers and sharing that experience with them. Thank you to Curling Canada and to the World Curling Federation for selecting Ottawa. Our world-class city is ready to put on a world-class show. It is time to bring the world to Ottawa. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Miigwech.
Many thanks, Elaine. All right, so that just wraps about wraps it up in terms of the formal proceedings. I'd like now invite media personnel if you have any questions to ask of our speakers. We also have Kathy Henderson, the Chief Executive Officer of Curling Canada. She will be answering some questions on behalf of Curling Canada. We also have Colin Grahamslaw, the Secretary General of the World Curling Federation. Nolan Thiessen also has joined us. He works for Curling Canada, but also is an athlete rep, I believe, chair of the Athlete Commission for the World Curling Federation. So please go into the chat window and put your name and affiliation if you have any questions. And Donna Spencer from Canadian Press will start it off. Donna?
Sorry, I hope everyone can hear me. Thanks for doing this today. Kate, everything I've heard today has talked about people being in the building Are you confident that by April of next year that people will be able to be in the building to watch curling? And could, if necessary, could this event be held without people in the seats?
Kate, you're going to have to unmute. Kate, can you unmute? There we go. Thank you.
Okay. How's that?
There
okay.
we go.
I kind of expected this question, so thank you for asking it. No, we're very, very optimistic that things will go full steam ahead. We have set up a medical commission who are working together with the World Health Organization on the guidelines we'll have to put in place for our events. And of course, by the time we get to Ottawa, we'll have hopefully hosted many events prior to this, so it'll be tried and tested before we get to this huge event in Ottawa. Of course, the safety issues, I think once we get people in the venue, and once we get people there, it'll happen. Our biggest problem is going to be travel, as you understand just now. The travel is a big issue with quarantine both sides, 14 days there, 14 days when people are returning. So that's a big challenge for us. But actually, Colin, who's part of this press conference tonight, I know he is more involved with the COVID issue because he is working closely with the Medical Commission and with our World Health Organization. Colin, would you like to comment, please, or elaborate?
Thanks, Kate. Good evening or good afternoon, everyone. Donna, thank you for the question. I think, as Kate said, we are in challenging times. I think at this moment in time, we plan for an event that goes ahead. We plan for an event that has spectators, but we will work with the local health authorities and take guidance from them as to what the regulations are in Ottawa and Canada. We are looking at our own regulations across the world in terms of what the different regulations are in different countries, potential travel restrictions on individuals and countries, but that really varies and is varying week by week, if not day by day. So all we can do is continue to listen to the professionals and work with them to ensure that we have as close to a normal experience in a World Championships as possible. And that includes fans in the stands, viewers on television, and players playing at the top level.
I'm going to ask Minister MacLeod to speak to this as well, if she could.
Yeah, thanks very much. You'll notice today, I want to talk about the quarantine issue right now. We are prepared to work, obviously, with Curling Canada and the local host committee, similar to what we're doing with the Maple Leafs and sports entertainment. We were one of the first jurisdictions, we were the first jurisdiction in the country to open up training facilities. And we have been working with our federal counterparts as well as the NHL to make Toronto a hub city if the NHL so chooses. So we are actively working on these issues where it pertains to national interest. And obviously I would be committed in this particular case to supporting that. As it relates to fans and stands, obviously we're going to put public health first and foremost. And we will continue to plan to make sure that the rigorous protocols are in place for sanitation as well as physical distancing if still required at that time. Having said that, the other issue that we're dealing with, and it's something I spoke about with the Premier yesterday in our podium announcement, is the social behaviors and the challenges that we may have in a post-COVID-19 environment, getting consumers to have restored confidence in attending events. And so with that, we've announced $13 million. I was with Michael Crockett on last Friday to announce $1 million of that for Ottawa. And I just got off the phone with Destination Ontario to see how we could expand that so that there will be a great degree of consumer confidence in the city of Ottawa when the championships take place next April. And of course, I think we're all hopeful that there will be a vaccine by that point in time, or at the very least, a very strong set of treatments. But we are committed absolutely with working with Curling Canada, just as we have been with the Toronto Raptors as well as the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Thanks, Minister, and thanks to all of everyone for those answers. Tim Baines from Post Media with a question for Mark Gowdy. Tim?
Hi, Mark. I want to know if to host an event like this, is there anything you have to do to the arena at TD Place? Do you have to add corporate boxes? Is there anything that has to be done?
Yeah, no, Tim, we're good to go in terms of the venue. I think you're commenting on the fact that we do have suites here that we just haven't used since we reopened TD Place in 2014. Pre-COVID and pre-67's playoffs, we were looking at, what that might look like for our arena anyway. So, I think there's an opportunity and a chance to do something along that lines, but there's nothing contingent in terms of our hosting agreement right now.
Sorry, so you were looking at possibly using those boxes because they're not fit to use right now, are they?
Yeah, we'd have to spend some money to open them up. If you recall, they were leftovers from back when the Senators played here many years ago. So they've been closed for some time, but there is an opportunity, Tim, for us to look at doing something with it.
Thank you.
Last chance for media to ask questions. If you have any, let me know. If you're looking to see this press conference again, it will be shown on our YouTube channel, curling.ca, or youtube.com/curlingcanada. The press conference will be there in its entirety for people to view again. We also have a question from, I believe, Martin Comtois. Martin, Martin, it's a question about how many cities submitted their submitted bids. Martin, we don't disclose that information because we just it was a number of cities is the best we can say, because we just don't get into specifics in terms of bid cities and how many bids were received. But there were a number. Donna Spencer, question for Kathy Henderson. Donna.
Sorry. I have to remember to unmute, right? I mean, Kathy, this is just sort of on a similar theme of the question that I just asked Kate. I mean, how optimistic are you that Season of Champions events in 2021 will be played in front of actual spectators? And can Season of Champion events go ahead if there are no spectators in the building?
So let's start off with the second part of the question. Yes, Season of Champions can go ahead without people in the building based on public health guidance. I mean, limitations as to number of people. As you know, for producing without fans, you still have to have players and broadcasters in the building. So that would, and I would say a safety first motto is really where we're coming from. So, but, we are, like everybody, we are tracking along and taking a look at what the public health outcomes are based on what our governments have been asking us to do. And what we are starting to see is, some pretty significant openings up across the countries. And then we are also taking a look, like weekly, we actually sit down and look at what else is going on around the world and how are other people coping with it. So everything from Korean baseball, the Bundesliga, to Eden Park full of New Zealanders watching the All Blacks play just a little bit ago. So I would say at this point, I'm not a betting person, so I'm not going to give odds on it. But I think the numbers are going the right way. We are planning to have fans in the building, very safe fans that likely have to go through a number of protocols in Ottawa, and we're all planning to have a really good time. That all being said, of course, we're not going to endanger people. We're not going to do anything that our public health, professionals would tell us not to do. So I'm kind of hedging it a little bit, but the way the numbers are looking right now, Donna, it looks like we're going to have a wonderful men's Worlds in Ottawa in 2021.
Thank you.
Tim Baines with a question for John.
I got to make sure I got sound on here. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. John, I'm wondering, obviously there are gold medals on the line. There are Olympic berths on the line. I'm wondering what an event like this means to the country, to host it in Canada, but to host an event like this in Ottawa, maybe for people who are not curling fanatics. What does this mean to Ottawa?
Well, that's a loaded question. I think from an economic standpoint, I think like Mayor Watson alluded to, the impact for this in the city, as Mr. McLeod has also alluded to, that coming out of COVID in April of 2021. I think it's going to be a huge boost for the city. As far as the athletic portion of it is concerned, I think there's a huge opportunity here for a lot of people to go and see unbelievable curling. As you've pointed out, there are Olympic berths in place for all the different countries, and the closer we get to the Olympics, there's going to be a lot of excitement. So it's a pretty big stage considering the timing and everything. And I would probably ask Kate to probably, add on a couple of comments as well, because this is part of the World Curling Federation. I'd just ask Kate to add on to my points.
Thanks for that, John. No, seriously, this is our flagship event, and of any of our World Championships, and particularly this year is the most important, because we have one qualification event that's going to mean if you can get to the Olympics or not. Can you imagine the hype's going to be around this event? It's going to be huge. And I can tell you, all going well, we'll have all these traveling fans, because Canada's a big venue for all our curling fans across the world, and all going well, we'll be there in our numbers. But no, it's huge. And I know from the broadcast side, we spoke about that earlier, we have a huge number of broadcast friends around the world who will be taking this event. And once more, I'm going to ask Colin, just give us an insight into, or input into, how many broadcasts we get from a World Championships, and in particular, what's your thoughts on what would be for the one next year? How many of our broadcast partners you think would be involved?
Thanks, Kate. Well, again, from our World Championships, over the last couple of years, we have been producing 2 games every single draw, which is then broadcast around the world. We have the US, China, Japan, and Eurosport taking live games from every single draw. We have the national broadcasters in Sweden, Switzerland taking their games when we show them. So it really is a strong broadcast product. The numbers all depends who's qualifying and who's doing well. If you get the right teams at the right stage, at the right time of day, we can pull some great numbers. We've been up towards the 400-500 million mark for spectators for World Championships before. So we can get very large numbers, and with Olympic places on the line, there's going to be interest all week in a lot of different games. So.
Thank you.
If I could just add one more thing, Tim. I know, for instance, in Japan, we had our World Women's Championships, and about at the same time, we had 360 million viewers throughout the week for curling. I mean, it's huge. I don't think people appreciate. I mean, Canada, this is where curling is our biggest member association and our biggest fan base. But to be honest, around the world, I mean, Brazil, I mean, it's crazy. They take every game from us. I mean, you can hardly imagine that Brazil, which now has their own first dedicated curling facility, opened in May. I mean, it's just crazy. We have 64 countries, and every country, Nigeria, Guyana. I mean, you can hardly take this in. So this particular event in Ottawa, and I'm so happy we're going there. Elaine, I'm looking forward to meeting you. And Lisa, many, many thanks for your huge support for the event, and also to Mark and Jim, everybody that's involved with this. I'm so excited about this event, and it will be our biggest event. That, together with the women's, which was taking place in Switzerland, will be our biggest events of the year for certain, sure. And so, but we're here, we're all working as a team to make this happen, and just hopefully that this awful, dreadful virus will allow this all to take place in the normal manner.
Thank you.
Donna Spencer with a question for Kathy about ticket sales.
Kathy, how would you, approach a ticket sales campaign in, I would say, right now, unusual circumstances? Would you have to delay or wait until perhaps a time when consumer confidence is higher? How are you going to tackle it?
Yeah, no, those are very good. Those are very good questions. I mean, I think what we want to make sure is that we release tickets in tranches so that we can make sure that if there are small groups of people that are allowed in, that they are going to be safe. Once we're a little bit more confident, we will sell more tickets, and we will just continue to do that going forward. So we will never sell tickets to the point where people are unsafe. At the same time, we have a great belief that over time things are going to get better. So that would really be the approach at this point.
Thank you.
Okay.
Seeing no more questions, I'm going to wrap things up. And once again, I really want to thank all of our participants today, and really excited to see you all in Ottawa next April at the World Curling Championship. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to email myself at acameron.curling.ca. Chris Hamilton, the interim head of media for the World Curling Federation, is available at media@worldcurling.org as well if you have questions. Thank you all. Once again, you can see this whole broadcast in its entirety on youtube.com/curlingcanada. Thank you all very much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.